days are a lot of work for us.
They're for chairs too.
Yeah, I know. Oh, I know, but I like set up.
Wow. Maybe in the morning
We're
before it
expecting
gets
a whole
bad.
bunch of other people. All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Neuqua Valley High School. My name is Lance Fuhrer, and I serve as the principal here. Welcome to High School 101. Before we dive into some of our particulars for tonight, I did want to make sure all of you know the district did announce that there is an e-learning day tomorrow. So there's been some cheers. You can go ahead and cheer. That's fine. The parents are booing. The students are cheering. You have 5 days till you need to be back at school. That is a pretty amazing gift. For us, we are transitioning over to second semester, so it is very interesting for us not to be at school tomorrow, but we will plan our way around it. First of all, thank you for being here tonight. Anytime I get in front of an audience, I want to make sure that I thank you for your time. For you as students, I'm sure you think the most valuable thing you have is money. For everyone else, your most valuable resource is time. So whenever you give that time to us and spend some time with us to hopefully learn some important information, we want to say thank you. So let's get started. First and foremost, we have posted tonight's slides and other relevant information so that you don't need to take pictures of everything at this website, neuquastudent.org/2028. neuquastudent.org is what we call our student splash page. It is the source for all of the information for our school. It is almost like a daily newspaper for our students, although we use it and send information from here to families all the time. For example, about 20 minutes ago, I sent some additional details about our e-learning day and what it means at the high school, and I posted all of that at neuquastudent.org. So we do have a district website, but we publish this ourselves, and this is one that you will find yourself using almost all 4 years that you are here. The other important date that I want to remind you about, because today is just more of an overview and an introduction to us as a school, is our 8th grade open house. And that is next Wednesday, January 17th. That is at 6 o'clock, and you'll enter door 53. That's on the other side of our front circle. We will have a similar sign that was out front that said door 7 today. There'll be one pointing to the right that will say door 53. We will not have 2 of these different events, because we will open up the entire school for 8th grade open house. Many of the people that are sitting here that I'll introduce in just a moment will be there, plus the department chairs and many teachers from every single content area. So tonight, our real purpose is to cue some of your thinking so you're ready to ask good questions 1 week from today. Because prior to the end of this month, you will be choosing some classes. You will be making some important decisions. Prior to that, we want to share our perspective on how we would advise you on what those decisions can be. There are so many options and opportunities. Not only freshman year, but they will grow throughout your 4 years here. We want you to graduate where you have choices in terms of where you can go. And to have the most choices and make the best choices for you, you have to be informed. So let's get started a little bit, okay? First of all, I want to share a little bit about who we are as a school. And I think it's very important that as much as we'll talk about content and courses, we'll talk about schedules and logistics and a lot of other managerial things, we are a school built on positive learning relationships. Our doors are open to every single student. We welcome you here. You start with a clean slate. No matter where you've been or what you've done, no matter your talents or your imperfections, because we all have both of them. Our doors welcome you to this school. In return, and this is for you as students, we ask that you come as you are, but you become who you are capable of becoming. I hope each of us, and this is for everyone here, sees ourselves somewhat as unwritten. We're a story unfinished, regardless of your age or experience. So that even if you are 13 or you're 43, there is a portion of your life that you are writing right now. So the choices you'll make help you write your story. So we want you to become, in your 4 years here, who you are capable of becoming by the time you are a senior and by the time you are ready to graduate in 2028. 128. So that is who we are and what we believe in. This high school and many others like it are a journey. You're going to start together, coming together as Crone Panthers and Gregory Pioneers and Skull and Sharks. And you will start on very similar paths at our Burkett Freshman Center. And as you get more experienced, you'll have more choices. Tonight, you'll hear from some of our department chairs about maybe an AP or an honors choice versus a college prep choice. As you get a little bit more experienced and become a sophomore or a junior, you will have a growing number of choices, whether it's required or core classes that are tied to graduation, or they are courses that are more connected maybe with a passion or an interest, an elective, where you want to learn about another subject or maybe learn a little bit more about yourself. Our hope is that high school not only opens doors for you academically, but it also opens doors for you when it comes to your own personal interests. There are a ton of students who I talk to almost every year who did not think they'd like something, but they took the class and it became a passion for them. That is what we hope to do for you, to connect with your interests, your passions, your talents, but to also grow those that you want to see expanded. All those are very, very important. So one of the myths about our school is that every single student at Neuqua Valley High School attends a highly selective college once they graduate. Admissions to a highly selective college are just that, highly selective. So what I want to communicate to you is give you a little bit of a broader perspective on the things that we value. For us, for me as a principal, for our educational leaders, for our faculty, we don't look necessarily at admissions to a highly selective school as something of a goal for all of our students. We simply want to give you the widest range of choices. So if we were to paint a portrait of our school, it looks a little bit like this. Each of these things up on the screen represent our student body. They are places where graduates, whether you go back to 2001 or 2023, they represent the places that our graduates have been to or are currently at. Volunteering for an international organization, earning a licensure for software development, going to a specialty school related to art or music, attending a school related to allied health or nursing, and attending 2- and 4-year colleges. I hope parents, when you see this, because what you say and what you do and what you support has a lot to do with how your child will see and define success. For us, we see success in every single one of those icons because our students are finding their passions and their interests and they're growing them. And I think it's important for every adult to hear that message. We can define success for our young people. And I think we owe it to them to define it in a very broad way. Let them find their path with your guidance and with ours. Another myth of our school, every student takes AP and honors. And if you don't, boy, you're taking some kind of path that will lead you to a place where there's no choices. So let me give you a portrait of our 4 grade levels. Right now, approximately 70% of our students take a majority of their classes in what's called college prep. Only 30% take a majority of their classes in AP or honors. That's important, and I'll get to that reason in a moment. But I want to share with you what these classes help produce in our students. So one of the things we focus on is not necessarily what your GPA might be or what the scores you'll have on a standardized test. We want to know what's happening to our graduates once they leave. If we've really done our job really well, it's not just what happens here, but it's how well we've planted a seed for future success, wherever that might be. At Neuqua Valley High School, 95% of our students, 2 years beyond graduation, they are engaged in the same academic pursuit that they started at graduation. The national average is 50%. 70% of our kids are taking college prep classes. An AP or an honors class is not a golden ticket that is reserved for only the elite students. It is something that all students can achieve. by taking college prep or AP or honors classes. So as we begin and invite our department chairs, who I'll introduce here in just a moment, as they come forward and tell you a little bit about some of our core classes, I want you to keep that graph in mind. Because I'll be honest, shame on us if we were to suggest to you, you take a class that didn't lead you to have choices and options that were positive and productive for your future. Every class at Neuqua Valley High School does that. So I think the best public high schools help all students with all options after high school. That portrait that I showed of those 32 icons, that is what we define as success, and other places like it. We do not have a two-tier system where as you become ninth graders, we divide you into two piles of those students that are going to be successful and those that are not. We believe in the success of every single student, regardless of the choices you make. You want to take a college prep class, you want to take an honors class, you can be successful at Neuqua Valley High School. And you'll have choices like our other students have had for more than 25 years. That is the foundation of who we are. That is what we strongly believe in. You're going to be challenged here. There are going to be differences between what you're doing in 8th grade. That's a part of what growing as a young person means. To be challenged to a point where you might not be as comfortable as you once were. That discomfort produces growth. It's not easy. That's why we're here to support you. Both college prep and honors and AP support that life after graduation. Super, super important. Okay? So let's get started a little bit on what we call our enrollment process. That is basically from the point you are at right now, which is I have an idea of some classes, some of which have been suggested to me, some that I'd like to choose. In a matter of weeks, you're going to make those final choices. You'll partner with a school counselor who will lock those in, and then we spend the next 4 months building a master schedule. 3,200 students, each taking 6 or 7 classes. It's in the tens of thousands in terms of our organization. It's why it takes a long time. It's why we're here in January talking about what you will be doing in August. So I want to invite in a moment here our Director of Guidance, Jessica Torres-Proctor, if you can raise your hand and say hello. She'll be the first to share a little bit about some of the things related to enrollment, getting you to the point where you're ready to attend classes on day one. The other people you're going to meet, Mr. Tom McManaman, Chair of our Social Studies Department, Karen Lawson, Chair of our English Department, Michael Parton, Chair of our Science Department, and Mary Nash, Chair of our Math Department. Each of them will share a little bit about the choices you'll have and what the typical day is like in each of those subject areas. Final person, before I invite Jessica up, is Mr. David Perry. He is our assistant principal at the Burkett Freshman Center. He's the lead administrator over there, which means he starts and ends every day there. Our leadership team rotates on a frequent basis. I was there almost every day this week, sometimes twice a day. We view it as an essential part of our school. It's simply 2 buildings and 1 school. So let's proceed. Jessica, take it away.
Good evening, and thank you for being here with us today. I'd like to take the next few minutes to just kind of go over a little bit about the course enrollment process and timeline. Before we go into some dates, I just want to mention that that week of December 18th, prior to going on holiday break, your students should have received at their respective middle school the course selection timeline, as well as the course sheet that has all their options. So hopefully they brought that home and shared that with you, something that you probably want to bring also next Wednesday for 8th grade open house, just to be able to refer to as far as the courses that are available to your child. All right, so to start, I'd like to go over some important dates. These dates are also on the timeline that I just mentioned that you can reference. But to start, as you probably already know, January 8th was a day that Student View was available for you to view your initial placements as well as start making some adjustments or changes with taking the courses that you're interested in having next year. So hopefully you've already been into Student View and have started looking at that and making some changes as you feel necessary. But it will be closing on January 21st. So 21st is super important that all those courses, the ones that you're looking to take next year, are set and ready to go. Typically by the end of the day, like 11:59 p.m. Is when it closes, so it will no longer be available to make those changes after that. Also, we do have what we call a deadline for level changes. So if for some reason, you're not happy or would like to request a level change, meaning going from a college prep to an honors or AP level course, we do have a deadline for that request. Again, it's on the sheet that your son or daughter brought home, but keep that in mind. Your request to the department chairs, which are people who will be speaking here in a little bit, would be the ones that you would need to contact to make that request. And then probably the most important timeline here too is between January 22nd and the 23rd, our counseling team will be visiting all the middle schools. We have about 2 dates that we will be there to meet with your student to go over the courses that they entered in Student View. So we will make sure to inquire, is this what you're looking to take? Yes, no, what changes would you like to make? So again, it's super important that by the 21st you have that entered so that when we do meet with your child, we can make very little to no adjustments depending on what changes they want to make. And then we do give students the opportunity to make some elective changes. We understand that students might select things now that they changed their mind and would like to, pick a different elective. So in May, we will send out a form that you can complete if you're looking to make a change, electives only. And obviously, that change would be dependent on the availability of the course and seats in that specific course. So again, you can submit the request, doesn't mean it's going to happen. It really just depends on availability at the time. All right, so how can you make sure you choose the right courses for you? Well, I had mentioned the course selection sheet, which I believe, you did receive in middle school. It basically has all the courses that are available to our freshmen. So I really suggest that you sit with your student, go over all those courses, be aware of what's available to them. That would be step one. We do have a course guidebook, which has a lot of information, but more importantly, it has information about each course as far as like what the course is about. It also indicates, if it's a semester or a full year course. So I strongly recommend that once you've looked at that course sheet, that you refer to the course guidebook just to make sure that the description is something that interests your child as far as, the course and taking that for the next school year. I also recommend, and of course we understand it's freshman year, students are going to be exploring and trying to figure out what interests them. But if there is something that your child has in mind as far as some type of certification in the future they'd like to earn, or a specific college you'd like to attend or program, it's always helpful for them to kind of keep that in mind as they're selecting courses year after year. Again, doesn't mean it's set in stone, but just to have something in mind as to, taking the right courses to meet that program or certificate. And then, of course, we always, ask this question. So I know that our students have counselors at the middle schools who are readily available for them more than we are, just because they're in the same building. But our counselors at the middle schools are in close communication with us here at the high school. So, please, if you have questions, ask them. And they're really good about, if they don't know the answer, they reach out and get the answer from us to communicate that to you. But of course, you're always welcome to communicate directly with us as well. All right, so we encourage students to visit our NVHS guidance website, not just now, but throughout the 4 years. We typically will post a lot of information here in regards to things that are happening throughout the school year. So course selection information. We post information about AP testing, any type of event, ASVAB testing, anything that we may have going on. So, something to keep in mind and visit regularly just for any updates. But specific to the course selection process, we do have a few resources that might be helpful. One of them being the 4-year planning guide worksheet. So there is a worksheet that could be a template of courses that students would like to take over the 4 years. Obviously, it's something that can change over time depending on what their likes or dislikes or their new interests or whatnot. But it's nice to have a little bit of a layout and then make changes year after year. On this website, we also have what we call our graduation requirements as well as our credit requirements. Always want to keep those in mind to make sure that you meet the requirements necessary to graduate. Your counselor will be working with you as well to meet those. But students typically will ask, how many or whatnot, so this is a quick reference for that information. We also include a 16 career cluster information. Again, it's really early, but oftentimes students are like, I don't know what I want to do. And this could be a start to just getting to know what careers are out there and maybe what cluster or interest they would have. And then decide maybe take some courses within that career that would help them explore if that's something that would be an interest to them. And then again, the course guide is available, as I mentioned. All right, so just a few reminders. Final selection is January 21st. Again, we've got to make sure that you have everything in. It states 7.0 credits. So once you finalize the courses you're going to be selecting, it's really important that you make sure that you have 7.0 total credits for the year, because that's exactly what you'll need to have. Typically, if a student is over or under, we will make sure to help students clean that up so that they have everything they need in the credits that they need as well. Just want to emphasize that when you're selecting courses, it's very important that there's some balance and variety within those courses. So again, try something new, try something that maybe you would be interested in, but you're not sure. This is a time to explore different things just to make sure that, you kind of take the path that is right for you. All right, so I had mentioned this already a few minutes ago, but we know you will have questions, so please reach out, whether it's to the high school counselor. I believe their contact information was on that course timeline that was brought home with your student or by your student. Counselors at the middle school, myself, our department chairs, reach out, make sure that you get those answers that you're looking for just so that your decisions in the courses you select are ones that you're informed and know that that's the best fit. And again, all placement, so if you're looking for a level change, that would have to be finalized by February 23rd. All right, so real quick, I just want to go over a few examples of what a freshman student schedule would look like with a few different electives here. So every student, as you probably have already seen, has to have an English, right? So English every 4 years. They will have math, a science, and a social studies. And then in this particular example, the student has 4 different elective classes. Each one is a semester long. You do see driver's ed there. It is an option, but it is dependent on when the birthday, and that is on the course selection sheet that your student brought home. Let's take a look at that. But each semester, students should have a total of 3.5 credits, equaling 7.0 for the entire year. Another example of a freshman schedule would be one that also, of course, includes the cores that we indicated. I didn't mention this before, but physical education is also something that's required every year, each semester, and then obviously a lunch. In this particular sample, the student took one elective that is a full year course, and then 2 that are semester courses. So business is a semester, ceramics is another semester, and then the PLTW is a full year course, but also equaling to 3.5 a semester and 7.0 for the entire year. And then last but not least, the other example here that it could be a possibility for your student is selecting 2 full year electives. So the same elective that they have first semester would be the second semester, so it would be an entire year of that course. But that would be, the same course it wouldn't change per semester. All right, so these slides will be, as Dr. Fiora mentioned, they will be available to you in case you want to refer back to the examples as you're selecting your courses. That would be something that would be available to you. All right, lastly, I just want to mention, obviously, some students have the option of doing a college prep course or more of an honors and AP level course. Just want to mention that when you're considering or deciding what is the best fit for you, to keep these three priorities in mind that could really make a difference in the success of your students. So when we're looking to, take an honors AP level, consider the fact that a student would need to read text at a college level, right? So that could be difficult for some students, and it could be something that is a fast pace as well. So if that's not something, that is something that's easy for your child, then that wouldn't necessarily be a concern in that area. Is your child an independent learner? Can they a student can persist without initial support or guidance? And then problem solving. Student can take different perspectives as they approach a problem. So again, just something to consider when making that selection between a college prep and an honors or AP level course. All right, so at this time, I'm going to hand it over to Karen Lawson, who's Department Chair of English.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming out tonight. It's kind of exciting to see so many interested students and parents. I know that you're very interested in selecting the right courses for next year, and we are here to help. And we also want to see students in classes we know that will challenge them. So welcome, class of 2028. I have been asked to just share briefly what does a high school English class look like. I'm going to start with lingo. In middle school students, I think you reference your class as ELA. You are either in a Project Arrow ELA block right now, or you're in the ELA block class. So at high school, we don't reference it as ELA, we reference it as English. And unlike our middle school colleagues, we only have you for one period a day. We'd love to have you for two, but we get you for about 47, 48 minutes, depending on which day. And so with that, the high school classroom will be a hub of activity. At the 9th grade building, I have some fantastically talented teachers, and you will be in good hands whichever course you're going to take. And the teachers, I want to make sure that all parents out there, the teachers teach both levels. So the majority of my 9th grade team teaches both the college prep class as well as the honors class. In that class, we prioritize writing. I know probably coming into high school for the first time, and many repeat parents, you're aware, grades will count for the first time. GPAs, all of these wonderful things that come with high school and the changes. And so we really ask, as a team of teachers, we really prioritize writing, and that's the bulk of the grade. We want to make sure you're prepared, whatever your next steps are for after college, that we have done our best to get you there, and that you hit university or law enforcement or wherever you're going, you feel confident that you're ready. And we also going to encourage public speaking. We love to have students learn to listen to their peers. We focus on usage, particularly usage that's going to help them on the SAT or other standardized tests. But again, both courses are skill-based, and both courses are going to prepare students for whatever next level they choose. Okay, the curriculum is going to hit the same skills. It's just going to move at the honors course a faster pace. Both courses are going to have expectations for homework and reading outside of the classroom. But one of the things you're going to hear from all of us tonight is we want you to have a balanced high school experience. We don't want you going to school all day, studying all night, trying to keep up with all the homework, because we want you involved in activities, sports, and all the fun things that high school can offer. And so one of the things I want to share, if you are putting together your schedule, that if you decide next year, I'm going to take the college prep course, you're going to be ready for the next level of English, whether you stay with college prep or you decide you're going to step up to honors sophomore year. I'm going to encourage you to come back next week, Wednesday evening. My colleague, Mr. Kubis, we will be detailing each course specifically if you attend the English section. But in the meantime, please reach out with questions. I know I've been fielding many emails over the last 2 weeks. Happy to help. I know it can seem kind of confusing, but I promise you that we will help you get a schedule that is going to work for you, and it's going to benefit you and your family. Okay, thank you very much.
Good evening. For math, you'll notice that we have a few more choices. That depends on what course you are currently in. So if you are currently in 8th grade math, you will have 3 choices: Math Foundations, Algebra Block, and Algebra 1. We will go into more details about those 3 courses next week. If you are in Accelerated Math, which is Algebra 1, your choices are College Prep Geometry and Honors Geometry. If you are in PA Math, your choices are College Prep Algebra 2 Trig or Honors Algebra 2 Trig. Regardless of what course you select, I want to make sure that you choose the course that is right for you. So do not worry about what your friend or the student sitting next to you is taking. Take the one that fits you best and will allow you to move along your math journey. In our math classes, they may be a little different than what you've experienced in middle school. We are very collaborative. You will have a variety of activities every day. You will sit in groups within your class. There will be a lot of movement. You will have practice where you're working with your group. You'll be up at the boards. You'll be moving around the room, switching groups. You'll have independent practice. You'll have bookwork. You'll have tasks. You'll have a variety of activities to help you learn the material. You'll have lessons that include notes and then practice that builds on those skills. You will have daily homework that may be a little different from middle school. Your homework could be online, it could be from a textbook or a worksheet. So expect that you will be challenged every day, but that you will grow in your mathematical abilities. We look forward to seeing you next week so that we can answer your questions and go into more detail about these course offerings.
Good evening. So we also only have 2 choices, so College Prep Biology and Honors Biology, and kind of a similar theme to the other courses that have already spoken. It's really about pace. The honors class moves at a little bit of a faster pace, but like my colleagues as well, we have several teachers that teach both courses, so they commonly plan. So the curriculum between both of those options is going to be identical. You're getting the exact same information presented to you. But again, at the honors level, it just moves at a little bit of a different pace, and they do go in some of the topics a little bit deeper than at the regular level, or the college prep level. What you're going to see, though, that you're going to start to build in science is going to carry over for your 4 years while you're here at Neuqua Valley, which is we're really interested in getting you to build your critical thinking skills, your application skills, looking at the world around you, and really trying to make sure that you can apply what we're learning not just for the content, but how it actually fits within your life as well. And that theme is going to carry over as you continue on your journey and you start to see that there's more options when you come over here to the main campus. But that theme is not going to go away. So as you start to make your choice and think about what do you want to do your freshman year, I'm going to continue to preach the same message, which is what else are you looking at? What else are you thinking of doing? What are your interests? What are you doing outside of the classroom as well? Because you do have to think about that school and life balance also as you're going into this. I also want to just make sure that it's clear that taking college prep as a freshman does not close off that path for sophomore, junior, or senior year as you want to continue on your journey. And you maybe feel like your interests are changing, your path is changing a little bit, and you want to challenge yourself in some different areas. So things to really consider and think about as you're looking at that choice. But if you do have any questions, we will also be here next week. We'll be upstairs in the C wing, and we're happy to answer any questions about the difference between these 2 courses and then also some of the other courses that will be available to you as you continue on your 4 years here at Neuqua Valley. Thank you.
Hello, I get to talk about social studies. You'll notice we also have the 2 choices. We've got the human geography, college prep, and we've got the AP. That's advanced placement human geography. So ours is different. Social studies does not have any honors classes. We only have advanced placement. And advanced placement classes are collegiate level classes. So the curriculum is designed by the college board. Right, so a good chunk of you have been automatically placed into a college level class. Another chunk of you have been put into a college prep class. So your decision is going to have to be is what level do you want? And the big difference is, other than the fact that it says college level, is the fact that the reading will be at the collegiate level. The pace will be at the collegiate level. Okay, we get to go a little bit slower because we're high school, and our job is to teach you how to do these things, but there's a lot more outside work in a college level class. So just keep that in mind as you make that decision about balance. Okay, I'll be totally honest. Some of you are automatically placed in four honors and AP classes. That is not good. It's not healthy for most of us. Okay, so just really think about that as you make your decisions. So when we talk about balance, balance is huge because students cannot learn if they don't get a chance to actually think about what they're learning. Okay, and that's huge for all of us. Our brains have to process information. And if all you do is stay up super late trying to read everything or do other types of assignments, you can't do the processing. So we ask that you really do think about what is good for you. Do you want to eat food with your family? Do you want to play some video games maybe sometimes? You know, you name it. You got to think about what's going to bring you happiness and joy in your life and not just studying all the time. Because even those that think they can do it, a lot of times, because this is brand new, this is high school, it's different, is that oftentimes we forget about that aspect, that it's going to be a change. So think about not taking all four, and then you can maybe the next year, you're like, you know what, I can do that, or maybe not. Okay? So really think about that just for your own health. We really, really, really want you to think about that. This place is a neat place. All of our subjects, all of them work on the same types of skills that will get your student ready for college and career. Doesn't matter if it's college prep or AP or honors. We do this all around. We talk to each other constantly to do that kind of stuff. It's a wonderful place to work, and it'll be a wonderful place for you all to come to school too. So thank you.
Can we give them a round of applause a little bit just for their leadership? Department chairs are something unique to high school. They play a very important role as leaders to our faculty. I want to touch on some of the things that many of them said. Almost all of our staff teaches multiple levels of courses. Again, as we don't encourage for students to think of an elite path and a less than elite path, our faculty, we do not separate them into elite faculty and faculty that are not. We think it's very important that they teach multiple levels. That gives you a chance to access their balance and their variety. And I hope those are words that you are taking home with you, because they are very important. I don't want to overstate that the decisions you make right now set you on some sort of path for the next 4 years. Remember where I started. You are unwritten, and you have a story to tell, to write, and to create. And you're just doing one chapter at a time. So keep that in mind. If you are an in-district, or if you're moving in, but you attend a current private school, that would mean you're not attending Gregory, Scullin, or Crone. That means we can't communicate with you unless we have your information. So you're going to want to scan this QR code or go to nicostudent.org/2028. It's your headquarter page. It will be for the next 4.5 years. There is a little button there that encourages you to give us your contact information so that we can keep you up to date on important things that are coming up. Okay? I'm going to lay some groundwork for you as people who are beginning to think about being a high school parent, either for the 4th time or the first time. We have lots of great parent organizations. Now, no high school student wants to see their parent at a high school dance chaperoning. We understand this. So at the high school level, we don't have reading circles necessarily, but we do need your time and support. If we want to be the school our community deserves. It's just the state of education. So I don't want you to turn off that switch that says, I'd still like to be involved a little bit. How can I do so? We have a lot of great organizations all the way through our activities and athletics, parent representations, music, and theater. We do have a unique arrangement, and you'll hear a lot about this. It's called our Wildcat Club. You can join the PTSA and our athletic boosters with one membership. Gives you access to a number of different advantages. You will not only hear in detail about that at our 8th grade open house next Wednesday, Wildcat Wear will be open, but you'll also hear about it in the many great events that we have over the summer, but also in August prior to the beginning of school. And then lastly, we didn't talk a lot about student life here at Neuqua Valley. And to learn a little bit more about that, I really encourage you to follow us on Twitter or Instagram, just to give you a little sense of what daily life is like. Hopefully you got a chance to grab one of our postcards that gives you some access to information about student activities. Those are super important things. When Mr. McManaman and some of the other chairs talked about that idea of balance, that you want to give yourself time to do lots of things, you need to do that. You need to do that. And to give you a sense of what you can experience at a school like ours that offers a wonderful experience, almost 18 hours a day, every day, you need to be informed so that you can make good choices. I'll end with the website once more time, neuquastudent.org/2028. You can get access to these slides, which means you can see those sample schedules, and you can also reach out to me or any of our department chairs at any time. We are here to support you. That is not only our job, but it is our passion. Thank you for being there tonight, or being here tonight. Good luck and sleep in tomorrow. Have a great night.